Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Conservatish episode 288. Oh my God.
Ooh.
I'm the hardest working half Puerto Rican, fucking white, bald.
Just reshoot
musician.
it. We'll fix it in post. Just do it
Yeah,
again.
we'll fix it in
go
post.
3,
Let's
2,
let's
1.
back up. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Conservatish. Wherever you're listening, make sure you subscribe, share, rate, and review, or you're racist. You can find me on Instagram at Peter_Feliciano. You can find me on Twitter at Rule62Peter. You can support my podcast and my music and all those other things that are foul things that I do at Patreon. There we go. Patreon.com/Conservatish. Or you can just Venmo my ass at Peter-Feliciano. Ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Love, aka Aaron Loves America. Yay.
Hi, everybody. It is my real name. We'll start with that. Everybody always asks, they're like, what's your last? Somebody asked me today, what's your last name? I'm like, it's Love. They're like, no way. I'm like, yeah, I'm out here on my real name, homie. I already was. I was already too much out there to pull anything back. So you just have to lean into it.
Before I started, and I do want to talk about you, but also me. Before I started this thing, I really was like, should I be all the way out? And I'm like, yeah, I should be all the way the fuck out,
man. You know what? And I think there's freedom in that, right? Like all the bad things that were going to be said about me, like they were a long time ago. Like I went through, public roasterinos and, like people know you and don't feel favorably about you. So they'll talk about that stuff, gets out, and it moves at the speed of social media. So it feels like the most important thing in the world when it's happening. But if you just zoom the timeline out, it's nothing. It's like like now, like stuff. I mean, today's like day 0 of me not getting a death threat on my page, right? Like They're just out in the open. I can't say my comment from today, literally, like I can't wait to post this when I get off here. But my comment from today on my friend's page was, this is a fire collab. I can't wait to see it. And they were like, nope, that's a fake comment. You're trying to get comments or likes. I was like, what are you talking about? Mm-hmm. Like that has nothing to do with that. How did that even trip the AI? Like it makes me think serious questions about a whole lot of things. However, I digress.
Before we get in to it, tell people who you are and where they can find you.
Yeah, so Aaron_Loves_America. You can just Google me, Aaron Love. I've got a couple of projects. I started off with One's Ready because to go all the way back, man, September 2001 happened, September 11th, 2001. I was banging around up, Northeast Ohio. I wasn't doing anything, man. I was bouncing around from bouncer jobs to, I was working at a factory for one point, like a rim factory in Barberton, Ohio. It was called B&C, but it was colloquially named Burnouts and Convicts. Or burnouts and criminals, because they would hire people with like sketchy. I mean, it was just factory work. You were just grinding out tractor trailer rooms for your 8-hour shift. And anyway, man, September 11th happened, and I was like, listen, I was very patriotic. Grew up son of a fireman, stay-at-home mom, Irish Roman Catholic. We couldn't afford a white picket fence, but we would have put one up. Like all the white privilege. Like I am your white privilege savior, and therefore your best ally. So there you go. But it just is what it is, man. I grew up in a stable family. 2001 happened. I was like, all right, I'm out of here. And then 22 years later, I spent 16 years, from start to finish as a pararescueman, which is a special operator in the Air Force. We're a ground maneuver force that does CSAR, to say it plainly, combat search and rescue. So there's somebody that's really hard to go rescue, we go rescue them. So think Jessica Lynch, Black Hawk Down. The fall of Afghanistan, we had multiple teams and multiple PJs on the ground and multiple PJ teams for that. So, I mean, it's just not really well heard of. So I started the One's Ready podcast. So that was kind of the first way that I got into the public eye. One of the founders of the One's Ready podcast. So we look for prospective, now it's first responders, it's military, it's fire, it's whatever. It's, hey, do you want to try something really hard? We can help you. We've all done things that are really hard. And we sort of evolved into being we joke that we're the unofficial official podcast of the Air Force, but we're out. You can't really touch me. I'll say whatever it is I want. I don't libel. Like 22 years. I know that, we tend to pull the curtain back for these people and be like, hey, listen, I'm not going to like recruit you in. I don't care if you get in, but I'm going to give you every single piece of information to include the terrible shit that I hate. Like I was one of the dudes that went to Iraq for WMDs. Imagine putting yourself in the position where I deployed there multiple times. My brothers deployed there multiple times. I was in the same country as 3 of my brothers when we were deployed one time. Like that is how all 4 of my brothers in the military, we spent something like 6 years consecutively deployed. Like my brothers were in the army. They were doing like longer. Well, 2 of them still are. They're doing longer deployments, right? They did like 18 months at a time in like the middle of 2007 into crit. That's a nightmare. And then I was there too. Like I was one of those guys. Imagine evolving to a position where for a fact that was fucking fake. We went in there on false pretenses. There were no WMDs. They lied in front of Congress and they got the approval of a coalition of the willing to remove Iraq, probably for what I think is because they were going to get off the petrodollar and go back and get out of the banking. Like if you look at the axis of evil, we know now the axis of evil that we were supposed to take out. I think it was John Kelly said, hey, we got to take these out. You know, there's like 7, Libya. Why did we take out Gaddafi again? Wants to get off central banking.
Right.
Like, you know, all 7 of those countries. Okay. Iran is still standing today, but what just happened?
Right.
Yeah. So here we go. Right. So, you know, to understand those things in a full sense, like to have the nuance of a guy, like I spent 22 years of my life deploying. I spent more than 5 years of my own life downrange doing these things. It wasn't always kinetic. It's not always like Saving Private Ryan, but it's away from your family and people want to kill you there by one way or another. And it happens all the time. And there's nowhere that's safe for us going. But imagine putting yourself in both of those positions. My red pill moment happened, you know, more than a decade ago, where I looked at something. I was just like, hey, that doesn't make any sense. I can ask too many questions as an independent analyst. I can ask more questions than you can answer. And that means this is bullshit. This is bullshit. You know, kind of when that light comes on, it's not like you're better than someone, but you're like, well, what about this? And have you thought about this? And when they start to falter and they can't explain it, and then they get mad at you and they can't tell you why, you're like, oh no, I'm smarter than you in this. Okay. No, it's totally, we should ask these questions. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So,
but here we are now. And that's why I started Aaron Loves America. You know, it's because I really do love America. And I think that there's a good America going forward. I'm unabashed conservative. I hold a very hard line on my personal conservative feelings. I would legislate differently. And that's something that people need to understand too. I just laid out duality, right? Being a guy that went to Iraq for WMDs and WMDs being fake and me making whatever piece I'm going to make with that, you know, same thing here, right? So 2 things can be true at the same time.
Right. And when you were over there, people were actively trying to kill you. So
the whole thing,
and
I got a good data
trying
set.
to hurt kids. Like, let's not, you know,
it's like a tragedy.
Everybody's, you know,
it's a slow motion, worst look at humanity. It's like going into a 1930s theater and watching a slow motion replay of what humanity at its worst can be. And you live that over and over and over again. And then you don't even have the time on the boats anymore. Dudes that came back from World War II, they could go on a boat, they could decompress. It really, really helped. Well, now, but dude, I've been in a bar drinking a freaking Guinness, you know, somewhere out of theater, you know, most likely in Germany on the way out or something. And I was just on a mission like 4 nights before that. Like that, you can't. And now I'm supposed to go home and be a father. Like I had toddlers at home and shit. Like how are you supposed to make those things happen, right? Like we asked these young men, and I'm saying from experience, we ask them to do impossible things, and we never give them anything in return. And the second that your name doesn't echo in those hallways, you're done. And I want to highlight those things and say, hey, this is the full picture of it. Now, and if you ask me if it's still righteous to do what I did and to go about war fighting in the way that we do, fuck yeah, I'd tell you to get in right now because it's fucking badass and it's worth it. It'll ruin your life potentially. You could die. But I'll tell you, you might not make it. You're not supposed to be able to make it. But I'll tell you what, it'd be fucking badass if you did, man. Like imagine achieving that goal and then being able to enact your will on a system that you go into eyes wide open, knowing exactly what it is. I want to get people prepared for that because that's the next warfighter we need. But I think it's the next citizen we need too, which is why I started Aaron Loves America.
Right. No, and I appreciate that. I think where because mostly I wanted to go online, you know, just because, you know, we have similar kind of stances and I think this is going to be a good little jive. But at the same time, I also wanted to talk about the changing of the culture of conservatives and where that comes from. I would never have thought from my limited viewpoint 15 years ago that I would see conservatives who are anti-war. Right. But now we still see this dug in neocon.
Weird neocon structure. Yeah. When Nikki Haley's writing shit on bombs and stuff, like, I can't believe you did that for a photo op. Like, what are we doing here? Like, are you serious? You get paid by Northrop Grumman. It's your livelihood. It's how you put bread on the table. Like what is happening?
Now let's dig into this. Because each one of these things, and everybody, you know, we can talk all kinds of shit about Megan Thee Stallion, and when we should.
Great. It should be mocked, but it's not.
It's
a rocking chair. It's a lot of motion. It's not a lot of progress.
But the cunt a few weeks ago, the Amber Rose, like listen, and I saw a lot of conservatives talk righteous shit about that. Right on. But as far as the culture goes, if we're going to have these performative things, let's point out that one specifically, because obviously she is beholden to defense contract. Obviously she's been beholden to APAC. Obviously she's beholden to all this shit.
Right.
But who was she performing for? She wasn't performing for them. They already know she's in their pocket.
Right.
So what is this? What is the type of motherfucker who still is so blind that they think America is like the good guys? We should go run and kill all those people over there, blah, blah. What's that type of person psychologically?
Maybe, yeah. It's a psychopath. It's a complete and total idiot. It's unwilling and totally unable to see the truth, man. Like I don't know I don't understand how you can look at the body of work that the government has presented for you and think that this time is the time that they're not duping you, that this time is the time that they're, whatever. My favorite thing to talk to people, especially really early on in their period where they're just, and I don't want to use all these buzzwords. I don't want to sound like Dave Rubin or somebody
Right.
that's
early on in their what?
Like their red pill journey when they were waking up, that shit's so cliche, but when they're really starting to like kind of realize the truth and then put two and two together and then start asking questions, I always enjoy just kind of hitting them with, a couple of thought experiments for them to work through and be like, okay, well, if this is true, then that would have to mean that this is true, right? I always start off with George Carlin. He was on a talk show. I think it was Bill Maher, and somebody was talking to him about conspiracy. He's like, oh, they have a dark room. He's like, you don't need a dark room when you control all of the media messaging things. There used to be 7, media things. Now there's 3. There used to be this many. They're giving you the illusion of choice. It's a uniparty. You are completely and totally beholden to this system. You don't need to have a meeting when everybody's interests align and you can see. That's why all these people do Pride Month. It started, and now there's this cabal of multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar corporations that kind of band together and do it and weather the storm for whatever fucking reason every June. But they don't coordinate on that. Sometimes there is an internal meeting. They do actually do that, and they collude, like in the Air Force, where they try to have a drag show for kids on an Air Force base and got caught doing it. So tight. Good luck, fellas.
However, the gay ones anyway.
Hey, that is the Navy. Air Force is the fattest, you dickhead. Yeah, watch your mouth. Air Force is the fattest. They're 18%. We just talked about this the other day on some other podcast, but they are the most obese. It's 18% of the force is obese.
Oh,
the Navy
no.
is 17. I got a good Navy joke. Why does the Navy use powdered soap?
Why?
It takes way longer to pick up.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a good one. But anyway, like I show him that George Carlin clip and I'm like, okay, so now is what is you think conspiracy is like formalized meetings and smoking guns? What if it's just like, hey, everybody, you know what the talking point is today? Republicans are weird. Everybody go say it. Do you need no? That starts catching fire. I guarantee that they're inside of their little circles. There's like, hey, here's the 4 shows that are going to break in the morning. You're going to notice a new talking point. Just go ahead, and then everybody goes, oh shit, yeah, JD Vance is weird. Okay, tight. Republicans are weird. Okay, we're going to make this ad to make Republican men look like our caricature of their beta males, like these fat, slobby, sweaty, weird, pasty-looking white dudes. Not a single fit. Like. It's a hallmark. Like, I find it hilarious. I work out now just to make liberals cry about my white supremacy. That's the only reason I do. I just want to look good with my shirt off and make liberals cry.
Right.
But none of that. But anyway, so I show them that, and that it puts them right down the hill. And then you just start hitting them.
And I find it so important, the people who are, because I feel like you're, so far as we know each other, I feel like you're one of these people. I know I am. A bunch of the meme friends that I have. I don't want. And I've said this many times, I'll be against the gulags, even if conservatives are the ones in charge of them, right?
Yeah.
I'll be against gun control, even if Trump is the one enacting it. Principles before personalities, and certainly before fucking party, because anybody can be bought, anybody can be got, even when they have good intentions. You go in, Alex Stringer, who was on my show a couple months ago, he said he actually ran for Austin mayor, and he, it was kind of a joke campaign, but one of his platforms was he wanted to put a dome over the city of Austin and shit like that. But he said, when you're an outsider candidate and you get in, you would think in the zeitgeist, you think, oh, they'll be like, giving you dirty looks and they're kind of angry at you. No, they grab your elbow. They say, hey, man, you got some crazy ideas, but I like some of your stuff, and then you get invited to the party and you get invited, and they kind of
first paycheck happens. And that very first paycheck, just enough to wet your beak. It's not a lot. It's $500. It's $1,000. It's just, hey, you know what? It's just a gift bag. It's just got some stuff and it's just worth like $1,500. Just fine.
Take some of this dirty money. It's training days.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, what a great movie. What a great movie. You're right. Yeah. And I'll be the first one to call it out. And again, people, smooth brains cannot keep 2 ideas in their head at the same time. All politicians, defund all politicians. Okay. I even wore it on here for a reason. Defund politics in general, defund all politicians. Like, I am a purist in the sense that it should be service. There should be a direct term limit. You should not get fucking paid. You shouldn't be able to take it should be a service to your community, fucking old school style. I'm talking early fucking, America style, where people rode from their houses in Virginia and fucking almost died and shit just to go put a vote in. And they actually listened to what the people that voted for him for. Like, that's the type of shit that I want to grab. That's where I want to pull this window, right? The Overton window is shifted so far away from what baseline conservatism is. Like, the meme is perfect. Like, two guys in 2010 are right here and the center's right here. And this guy goes further left in 2015. He goes, man, you're getting pretty radical. And this guy's like, I haven't moved at all. And then it was 2020. The guy's all the way down here. He's like, you're the far right. He's like, I literally haven't moved. That's exactly kind of like, people look at my page and they're like, how can you hate politics? I'm like, all politicians are trash. Everybody's bought and paid, every single one of them. They're tools. I don't have a favorite hammer. There's a right hammer for the job, but there's not a hammer that I'll go out in the street and shoot somebody for. I don't fucking care. They're all the same. They're all garbage. They're all politicians. I'm so, like, that's my baseline going in from every time. And people cannot like Trump 2024. I'm voting for him. I'm getting as many people to vote Republican conservative values down ballot without looking at the other side that I can. I swear to God, I'll do everything in my power. I don't care. Guess what? You figure that out in your head. You figure out how I can hold those two things. It's not my fucking problem, because that's what I'm doing. I'm being clear, transparent, and honest with you. Fuck off.
Now let's address that, because I posted something a couple hours ago that was pro Trump, I guess, whatever.
Sure.
I essentially said, how can you not love this nigga? Because he went off on this great rant.
You're Puerto Rican, you can say that.
Well, if you ever want the pass, just send me a text. But my problem is, like, I posted that, and then I had a few people who, rightly so, were like, fucking bump stock, vaccine. He gave,
guess what? He's
and I'm like, yeah,
100%.
But I also can both of those things, like you're saying, I can hold both of those ideas in my head, where I can go, you're a tool, at least culturally. Okay. I don't invest a lot of hope in the political system. I don't invest a lot of any, oh, gee golly, this guy's going to be my savior. I keep banging my fucking followers in the head with it.
I just despise it. I despise the very premise of it.
Right. Exactly. Especially because let's get into that in a second. But I try to stretch my followers' minds towards that idea of, you can like this motherfucker and also not trust him,
and also hate him.
You should never trust any of these people, right?
No, yeah. Again, I just don't. I don't understand. You lay it out for people like that, and it's very clear. And that's where I slog through the comment section. Or it's a terrible place to try to have a conversation anyway. But I'm active in there just to tell people, do me a favor, just shut the fuck up. You have literally no clue what you're talking about, but It's always been fun. But I'll tell you, like, you've posted things before that I've looked at. I'm like, I may not totally agree with that. There's been stuff you posted that I was like, nope, this is a miss for me. I don't think you've ever made me so upset that I actually commented, which is a funny thing to say. Like, I wasn't upset, but I don't think I ever did. Like, usually if I disagree that much, if I think something's for real stupid from somebody that usually posts great shit, usually I'll like put a comment. Did you see the dude that was talking about the Olympics? I don't know what is it, the gay white dude. He's sort of jacked. He usually has pretty good shit. I can't remember. It's like Baker or Carson or something. Anyway, so the whole, Olympics thing, which it was plainly obvious to everybody in the world what it was. Like, you looked at then they initially were like, oh no, that's not what it was. We were, representing the Feast of Dionysus. Well, then they walked that back. They pulled their video down. They apologized. And they said, in fact, it was an homage to the Last Supper, right? Da Vinci's painting of the Last Supper, right? These motherfuckers. This dude literally came out and he was like, yeah, I heard that there was other reports. And then, I think he dropped his reel right before the last smoking gun came out, where they were like, yeah, now we're scrubbing it. They basically hit everybody. They colluded with big tech and hit people with copyright violations for sharing the video. Like, you couldn't even find it. Yeah. Real tight of them. You didn't look like you did anything wrong. But anyway, then he stood by it. He was just like, no, man, it stays. I'm like, whatever.
Explain what you mean. So the guy, whoever it was, defended and said that it was Dionysus or whatever the fuck.
Right. So he goes on to his little release. He's like, oh, I did all this research into it. No, this is actually the Feast of Dionysus, and this is not what you saw and whatever else. It was pretty early on, though, so I'll give him the thing. Like, it was still like wavering back and forth, because the initial report from the Olympic Committee in France was like, no, it wasn't the Last Supper. This was totally a Greek gods thing, and this blah, blah, blah. And they walked it back like immediately. And that's the news thing that he put up. But they put that out within like 6 hours of this breaking. And I was like, bro, they put that up because they got caught. The backlash was coming hard and heavy, and they could feel it, and they couldn't control it. They tried to leash it, and it just went straight downhill. I mean, it just went viral as shit, that immediately they had internal emails. The communication director and their real name from their real email was out there saying, yeah, this will, they were like, we didn't mean to offend anybody, but yeah, it was an homage. We were just trying to put a new twist on it and, you know, whatever else. Like, came out and said it, like, whatever. And then when confronted with that information, he's just like, nah, man, the other reel stays, you know, like this was a thing for, like, I just believe it. We're like, I was like, man, like, I don't have respect for people I don't know. It's weird to say, like, I think you're a good person. You know what I mean? We've talked online. We're internet friends. If we got to know each other better, like, I would always treat you with kindness and respect. But to say that I would lose respect for somebody, that implies that I have respect for people that talk on the internet, which is a weird thing to say. However, he took a credibility hit with me. Let's say that. Like, now I look at his videos and now I'm like kind of nitpicking, and now I'm kind of like looking at it's like close to getting unfollow. Like, you know, you run that risk living in the world.
Well, now this is one of the things I always come across, because it's something I think about a lot. I try to come from a place of authenticity. And when I'm going to say something spicy that I know a good bit of my followers will unenjoy, I try to do it not carefully, bless you, not carefully, but I try to do it consciously, and try to do it so that I try to craft it so that when I land, so that the punch lands, right? I'm not just going like, oh, news story, jump, because news story, jump, even in me, there's an element that is gay. There's an element that is,
fellas, is that gay? Yes, that's very gay. Like, very gay. So somebody else just made you do something. They had a video and it made you go post a video about it. He made you do something, right? Yeah. Did you do it? Yeah. Did you think it was important? Yeah. You're gay, bro.
Right. Well, yeah, it's likes. It's jumping for likes, right? And when I'm jumping for likes, because we all have had that experience.
I've done it. Everybody's fucked it up. Everybody's tried to be first.
When you do that, it's like, I feel cringe when I look back on that shit. You know?
Oh yeah, dude. And I won't take mine down. I have, like, dude, like, I think I took the first one down, and that made me feel worse than being wrong. It made me feel like I was fucking. I won't hide your comments. I won't delete your comments. Like, you can say whatever the fuck you want. You don't have an expectation with privacy on that page. Like, direct message is not private message. You are messaging me, and if I want to put that out there, that's hey, everybody, you don't have I usually lead with it. You don't have an expectation. Now, friends, of course, I'm not putting my friend shit out there on the street, or people that are good, or the people I have a good relationship with. But if you come up into my DMs and you're like, fuck your mom, you should go die and start a pistol, I'm 100% going to post that to everybody. That's the point of the page. My page exists not to change anybody's mind or have discourse in the comment section of this terrible app, Instagram. That's fucking retarded. Imagine if that was my end goal, to change a heart and a mind in a comment section of a fucking throwaway app that can, if we don't have electricity, fuck you, you don't have the fucking app. It's not that important. And it's not a real place. However, I want to have a conversation with idiots, because there's people that are sitting on the fence right now, that middle 80%, 10% love me, 10% hate me, 10% aren't going to change their mind either way. But those 80% that are watching the conversation, I want to put my idea up against your idea, and I want to see which one seems more stupid. And I want to do that all the time. And I will do that by baiting you into a conversation or post something just like you do, inflammatory, on purpose, that I have thought about before I post it. When people try to hit me with gotchas from the post, do you think I haven't thought about the possible response to this before I hit send? Is that how you behave on the internet?
It's possible Connell, or whoever the fuck that other guy was you were talking about, did not. But
yeah, I just don't understand. Like, and then, like, you add layers to this. Like, Chris Cuomo and I got into a DM where he was calling me all this. I have all these DMs from Chris Cuomo because he got dog walked for, like, he's off the face of the planet. He went on like 3 different shows where he just absolutely got killed. Dave Smith crushed him to his face with video. It was just fantastic to watch. I'm sure you watched, like, I think you commented on it. You had a great take on it. I mean, he just absolutely fucking crushed him. And it happened like 3 times. Dave Rubin did it to him in his own house. Dave Rubin, like, Dave, I like Dave. He's like I mean, for like normal people, I guess he's like edgy. He's pretty hard line. He's got some good things. I disagree with a lot of the stuff that he does, and him, you know, like, you know, whatever. I don't have a value judgment, but you know, just the one thing I'll say is, like, hey, you shouldn't be able to be gay and then buy a kid. Like, and I'm sorry for being so fucking inflammatory with everybody, but I want to speak in plain language. You should not be able to make a choice about your sexual life, and then that comes with consequences. In this case, you cannot bear children. You should not be able to co-opt a straight woman to carry your child. That is the Handmaid's Tale. Rich elites that choose to do opulent shit, and then they take the cattle for breeding, and they're paying now, but who's to say that they pay forever? Because once people start paying for it, then they find a way to subsidize it, because that's what fucking humanity does. So, like, Man, I'm sorry. Like, it's take for that for what you want. I don't have a personal feeling about him. I don't know him well enough. However, he's like your edgiest dude, and kind of on that conservative space for normies.
And a couple of hello Peaches. Peaches
hi,
CCT is saying hello.
Hi.
The Chris Cuomo thing was funny. Why are they calling JD Vance weird? What about white dudes for Harris?
Oh man, yeah.
And we can get to that. I want to address
Sure.
this Rubin thing. One of the things, because again, we're talking about the culture and how we shift the culture.
For sure.
In 2018, 2017, I think it was, when I got initially red pilled. Again, super gay, blah, blah, blah.
It is what it is, homie. Just lean into it. I'll kiss the homies goodnight. I don't give a fuck.
So when I fell down the rabbit hole, it was because I had started to feel like I don't agree with a lot of the shit. I'm living in the Bay Area. I'm writing these hooks for rappers and singing these hooks for rappers around the Bay Area. I was getting fucking annoyed with all this.
Is that
shit.
real? You were in the hyphy, the home of Young Gerald, Me 40?
No, I was
Mac
like
Dre
that. I was like the half Puerto Rican Nate Dogg. So I would write and sing the hooks for rappers around the Bay Area.
Oh God. Who was the most famous person you work with out of the Bay?
Not out of the Bay, but I was on a track with Del the Funky Homo Sapien.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. I never met him, but I was on a track with him.
Fuck good for you.
But so anyway, I fell down the rabbit hole and I needed gateway drugs. Gateway drugs were Milo Yiannopoulos, because everyone was calling him Satan. So I was like,
of course,
let me see if he's Satan. And then all of a sudden, oh my God, he's not. So it was Milo Yiannopoulos, Jordan Peterson, Rubin, Camille Paglia.
The intellectual dark web. That's what they initially, Joe Rogan, Rubin, Peterson, all those cats in that circle, to some extent, they it was the intellectual dark web era.
Right. And that was okay for a little while, but then 2020 hit and I became a lot more anarchist, libertarian, a lot more like a pox on all your houses. You know what I mean? Sure. I was like, all of you are demons. Not to say that everybody in the sphere, politicians, yes, but everybody in the sphere is ill-intended, has bad intentions.
Sure,
but even when they have good intentions, you still need clicks in order to eat.
Survive.
So what happens is you start to mold. And so those people, Dave Rubin, even Jordan Peterson, a bunch of those motherfuckers, I'll give them a little bit of rope. I'll maybe follow them for a little while. As soon as once like 2 or 3 posts, I'll get rid of them. Now here's why I want to ask you, or what I want to ask you. When I do that, I think the internal thing is not because of the surface disagreement. Yes, there are some surface disagreements, but like you said, sometimes you and I disagree on some things.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
But it's not the surface disagreement. I think it's the underneath, the subconscious, whether or not they're authentic.
Sure. Yeah, that's part of it.
So when I feel that someone's authentic, I'll give them. There's a friend of mine named Nico House. 3 out of 4 posts I love, but 1 out of 4 posts, he's actually a socialist, right? And I'm like,
yeah, and you're like, God, I hate you so bad.
Dude, I keep scrolling, right? Because the rest of the value I get from that motherfucker is, and because we have a friendship, I'm willing, and because he also is pretty based in some other ways, I'll keep following him. Fuck it,
Dude, we all do.
What do you feel like it is?
Oh man. I don't know. Like, it's so easy to sound condescending right now and just tee up for a big one. I'm like, oh, we're smarter, we're more inclusive. You can go look at any of the rallies. If you're a Trump guy over at a Biden rally, you're gonna get fucking spit on and bear sprayed. If you're a Biden guy over to Trump rally, you're gonna get a beer and a hell yeah. And a bunch of people are like, why you like that guy? Come over here. They're all out there, right? So like, why do I think that there's that animosity, or why do I fucking, who knows? It's easy to tee up here and just start like bashing shit, right? But I really do think that it's like, man, it comes from being wrong. Like, I remember like the pain and the sting, and of course, like, I'm predisposed to it. I have a near photo, and this, again, I'm not trying to be narcissistic. I sound like such a douchebag. I'm the type of person that I could look at a book. Like, if I'm in school, I can not only tell you like what the answer was, but I can tell you where on the page that answer was. Like, I can describe it to you beforehand. Like, hey, it was actually in the right side, those little outset boxes. It was in there on this page in this chapter. And it's just how my brain processes stuff. Like, I intake information well, right? the sting and the pain of being wrong and being wrong about big things, big things, theological questions. And man, I categorically remember those, and I don't know why, but I store the memories, and it's perfectly, it's pristine. I can access them whenever I want. Typically when I'm trying to go to bed at night, of just when I've cringed and when I've been wrong. Right. And I don't ever want to be like that again. So that for me drives me to be like, okay, well, what is this really about? How does this compare to the last 10 times it's happened? And by the time you get there, it's like an iceberg, right? Memes and posts are like an iceberg. I'm giving you this much. I want to talk about this much, and I'm prepared to go down here. Mm-hmm. I know that you're doing the same thing. I know that there's that layered approach. So when I see you doing it and you see me doing it, you're like, okay, I'm going to give him some rope. Aaron posted a fucked up opinion today. He's an idiot. Oh, well, he'll figure it out, or it'll become a trend, and then we got to address it. You know what I mean? Right. Like I give you that rope all the time. Like, right. Hey man, are you really a fucking idiot, or are you just pretending you're smart or whatever? Like, because that's what grownups do. Like, I've been wrong so many times, and I've jumped the gun so many times. Like I would rather be correct than first, with everything. So when everything happens, like I'm really, and it's a constant struggle, something happens and you want to get on and talk about it right away. Something happens, get on and talk about it right away. That's not the content you want. You want a clear, balanced look at what you think is going on. You want to use your experience that you've learned. I want to have those conversations with like-minded people and then start pulling people in. When they see the conversation between you and I tonight, hopefully they go, wow, these guys can pretty much defend or tear down any argument and just be okay with it and then move on with life. Right. Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do, man. That's what unity is. Sometimes it's leave me the fuck alone. And yeah, I will kill you if you come on my property, but we can talk and we can see what's up, and we can share knowledge, and we can form a little tribe, and humans are tribal animals. And I'd like to be part of a good tribe that aligns with my morals and cultures and values. That'd be tight. But it's just so like, and then, in the inverse, when you see some of these NPCs, everybody that comments on my post has 4 posts and 275 followers. You don't find that weird? You know how many people are bots on that page? Probably all of them. That's why I have no problem talking to them. Like, I absolutely fucking hate them, because I do.
Right.
Absolutely.
And I match their energy. Like, if someone is genuinely like, hey, I disagree with this. If you come in respectful, well, yeah. But if they come in respectful, I'll address them respectfully. But if they come in, you're racist, I was like, oh, good. Glad you said it, white boy. Now I'm going to push you down using the exact same tools that you push other people down. And I'm now going to bully you, you fucking colonizer. Oh, you continue commenting? Now I'm going to post it to my 27.7 thousand followers, and we're all going to talk shit about you and talk about your man tits and all kinds of
Dude, my favorite part was the immediate thing that the freaking gay porn star said. He's like, oh, you got all these bot accounts. I'm like, hey, bro, again, this is going to be douchey, but I know you have no idea what it's like to run a successful social media outlet. But I have a strong tribe of people that I love. I've been with them for day one. They've been with me for day one. And as gay as that sounds, these internet friends have built up a network that really can't be fucked with. That we're really, really good at getting people back on their feet and making them go the right, like getting them to the places that they need to go, supporting each other. It's actually pretty fucking cool. I didn't need to pay for it. I didn't ask anybody to comment on that. I didn't even tag anybody. I just fucking put it out because it's hilarious. Because do you carry medical insurance? Yeah, I do. It's pretty good, but that's not the only thing I fucking carry, homie. Get the fuck off my dick. I fucking swear to God. I'm like, and I don't want to say that. I'll say this to the people that are back here. I hope he's watching. Fucking, but bro, my hobby is jujitsu. I fight people 5 fucking days a week for the last 10, 15 years of my life on purpose. Right. People beat me the fuck up. I go into that gym every single night with the express purpose of not getting tapped out, and some other dude imposes his fucking will on me. And that is a lot. Like, I get tapped out when I go there. Imagine what I'll fucking do to you in a fist fight. And don't fucking talk to me about getting on that fucking ratchet, dog. Like, I live that life. I've got hundreds of thousands of rounds through my primary and secondary weapon systems. I will fucking burn you down where you stay. I will sleep like a baby. I don't fucking care. But you can't say that to people because it's a threat, right? But that's not like, for me, like I say it's not emotional. Like, I'm not like worked up right now. It's not posturing, but that's what's going to happen. I've been in this fight 100 times. I had a really good friend. I won't say his name. He texted me and he's like, please tell me that there was actually a fight. He's like, I always see these things develop and there's never a fight. He was like, did you actually go fight that guy? And I was like, no, bro, I didn't. I almost said his name. I was like, no, bro, I didn't. And he was like, God damn, I just wish there was more violence. I was like, I know, man, I'm fucking here for it. Like, I don't know if I want to die in the gunfight of a parking lot of Albertsons in Southeast Las Vegas over a gay porn star, but fuck it, I wasn't doing anything else. I've done dumber shit.
Right.
I was in the military for 22 years.
Right.
Right. I jumped out of planes and shit. Like, what the fuck are we talking about?
Right. Now, as far as where to get people to go, because this is my bread and butter, and I think you probably can pick that up, and the people who follow me. Yeah, sometimes I'll do like Trump shit, or I'll do race shit. I'll do a lot of race shit. But But where am I going is I'm trying to connect us to God, to connect us to each other, and connect us to ourselves, to learn self-trust, to self-sovereignty, all that shit. And my initial, I've been training my brain when a false flag happens. I talked about it a few weeks ago when Trump got shot. My immediate thought was, oh, fuck, now what?
Again.
What are we going to, and then I was like, wait.
Right.
I smell January 6th. I
Right.
smell George Floyd. I know what this feeling is. I bet a bunch of my fucking followers feel this. Let me meditate, let me pray, and then let me take that anti-fear message to my people. Hey, everybody, yes, it's gay. Yes, it's fake. Yes, it's all fucked up. Let's everybody fucking breathe. And that's kind of my bread and butter. As far as your intentions, you talked about it a little bit. Can you go into a little bit about, and maybe where that came from?
Sure. Yeah, man. Well, where it came from is I'm adversarial by nature. I love being a PJ. I did not particularly like being in the Air Force, especially as I made rank later in life. I did not follow, I do not follow authority well. And I know that's a gay thing to say, but like, I love the job so much that I played those games, but I was always bad at it. I was counseled all the time. I would tell my guys to call me Aaron. I refuse to play these fucking games. Like, once you realize pomp and circumstance for what it really is, which is conditioning and ceremony, bro, you're telling me we all dress the same, we stand the same way, we say the same thing in a call and response fashion from someone, and that's the person that we follow. And by follow, I mean go deploy and actually do the war fighting. And then that guy gets medal for it when I get back home, hopefully alive. Boy, and then we just keep doing that. And then we gaslight everybody and saying that this is righteous. And we found out later that wasn't. Like, that's just ceremony. That's just ritual. That's all it is. So once you see it for that, it's let me tell you, that brings a vibe to your military career that not a lot of your supervisors like. I made E8 by accident. And from then, I was just fully in the rabbit hole. Like, I was just so far down that everything, like going through COVID, I had a commander that shut everything down. So he shut the gym down for COVID. This is unheard of. In our organizations, you have 24-hour access to our own collegiate level NCAA gym, to include, cold tubs, hot tubs, every piece of cardio equipment. It's a fucking college Division I gym. Every single one, even the worst ones, were like, yeah, that one's the worst one. It's the best college gym you've seen. That's just what it is. We have a whole team of people that work there. Fucking go put your balls on the line and get selected if you want to use one. Anyway, he shut it down. And I was like, I had a serious issue. He brought it, and it was so gay. It was COVID. So we stood on a flight line, and we had to, no kidding, arms out and stand that far away from the humans next to us outside on like a sunny March day. I was just like, this is the dumbest thing that we've ever done. So he could kind of tell. He's like, hey, Aaron, you did not agree with me there. And I was like, absolutely not. I fundamentally disagree with you. You were wrong on these 4 topics. Like, he said 4 things. And it was something as simple as like, hey, we're going to bleach down everything and whatever. We don't have enough bleach to bleach everything in a 24-hour cycle because it's all really hard to get a hold of. So we have to ration it. So we have to close the gym down. I'm like, no, you just tell guys to bring their own shit. Everybody's got soap at home. What the fuck? You can't get dish soap? You can't get any soap anywhere of any type. You can't. What are we talking about? And we don't even know that COVID lives on things. I was like, so there's that. And then, he brought up 2 other completely unrelated things that I was like, this doesn't even make sense. Like, this isn't even a reason to close the gym. I can solve that problem for you right now, walking away from here. What do you want me to do? So we just got to the end of it. And he looked at me and he goes like, well, what are we going to do? And I was like, what do you mean we're going to do? You're the fucking officer. I got to go out there. I disagree with you. I fundamentally disagree with you. But this is your call. It's not illegal, immoral, unethical, or, stupid enough. So I got to be like, whatever. I'd have those conversations a lot. So, my resistance to authority and government stuff, that kind of like really got me into a every room I walked into, it was like a knife fight. Every room I walked into, it was like, we had to talk about COVID, and I would just call people out. Like, I had a flight doc laugh at me. I was like, why aren't we talking about vitamin D? Why aren't we talking about exercise and getting out in the sun? Why aren't we talking about these other things like hydroxychloroquine? The guy just started laughing. He was like, that's a conspiracy theory or whatever. Oh, wow. Really? You know why? Because I took 2 seconds to read on what was happening. 2 seconds. Comorbidities 4 times higher during COVID if you had a deficiency in vitamin D. Oh, okay. Well, then just fucking tell everybody to get vitamin D. It's readily available. It's super duper cheap to produce. But they couldn't, because they couldn't have a reasonable alternative to having a vaccine. And that's what Big Pharma needed. No reason. That's why they dumped hydroxychloroquine as well, because they couldn't have a reasonable alternative. Anyway, so, as I go through all those things, like, that makes me adversarial by nature. I am blunt. I am a dickhead. Like, the Aaron Love, the pie graph is like, they first meet me and the amount of hate is way up. And then, it goes down, over time. You eventually get to like me because you realize I'm really pretty self-effacing. I really have a whole lot of imposter syndrome going on. The things that I say are really just hopes for, you and I to connect. I talk a lot and I talk fast. Like, I get it. I'm an over explainer. I own all of these things about myself. It's why I turn people off. But as you see that I'm trying to be genuine and I'm trying to get you there. It's just, you have to get through that first one. It's like, you want to come at me negative. Okay, well, I'll test how negative you are. I'll give you that same energy back. It's like jujitsu. Hey, when I roll with white belts, if this kid comes over and he just starts going hard in the paint, what do you think I'm going to do? Just be real passive and be like, I know you're punching me in the face right now and you're doing a bunch of stuff. No, I'm teaching that motherfucker a lesson. I'm like, that's not acceptable, homie. Don't bring that shit in my here. I do the same thing on my page. Don't come in there talking dumb shit because we're going to have that talk about it. But in the end, I want people to be able to sift through what they see as animosity or what they see as adversarial nature, because I think it's where, and this is loops it back to the Overton window, not talking about religion, politics, and sex in public has made us really stupid about religion, politics, and sex. And now we have stupid councilmen and stupid people like the iPad kids that have all these fucking stupid ideas about personal safety and what is an attack and words are violence and safetyism and the trans agenda and all of these other things. You're like, you fucking retards. The people that are in power should have been out of power a million years ago. Gen X should be in power right now, but they never let go, the boomers, from the power. And all these fucking retards that have went through liberal education are now in the offices where they're making the laws for these fucktards. And now that's what we have, right? There needs to be somebody that provides a counter voice to that. And I'm happy to take on the slings and arrows of many because I don't give a fuck. You're not going to hurt my feelings. You're not going to turn the page off. You're not going to make me stop no matter what you say. You honestly don't matter to me. I want to have a conversation where somebody hits me and goes, holy cow, I didn't know about that fact you said. I can't believe this guy said that. And be like, yeah, man, that's actually a true thing. You should go look this link up, because that's how you win. You make them play by their own rules. And mockery is a rule of Alinsky's rules for radicals. You see it all over my page. I tell people straight up, I'm completely transparent about this. I'm here to manipulate you into saying what your true stance is. Like, you like to kill kids in the womb up until 9 months. And then I'm going to put that out for the masses. What's your true stance? Some fucking guy thought he had me all fucked up. He was like, oh, looks like you wrote that with a coat hanger. Cause we were talking about abortion. It's like, oh, these words please me. Look like I wrote it with a coat hanger. I was like, oh, there it is. Screen capped it, put it out. I was like, hey, this is who they really are. This is your average Democrat voter. Average. Okay. I can't tell you Republicans are going to fix all your problems. Guess what? Because they're terrible garbage humans. Every single last one of them, no exceptions. But I can tell you that every single problem right now you have is caused by a Democrat. Every single one. All the big problems you got, they're caused by the Democrats.
That's what I keep saying. Like, I'm much more anarchist, much more voluntarist, libertarian. But two things can be true. So as far as Trump, and it loops into our culture conversation, because that nigga is important, not only because he was a battering ram in 2016. It was a shock. I think the globalists weren't probably planning on him. They had, they were like, oh, fuck, we didn't have COVID scheduled to like 2030. Fuck, we got to bump that up.
Yeah.
So they did what they needed to do. But even now, we should, I continuously point people to say, like, we should all be building our lives in ways which circumvent the influence and the need of the state. We should all be, looking at non-citizen nationalism. We should all be filtering our water and having food supplies and going to the gun range and blah, 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 homeschooling and all this stuff, right?
I got to pull up this Instagram account that I want to give a shout out to. So go ahead. That's why I'm looking down. I'm sorry.
But in the interim, Trump can be important as a cultural figure. In the interim, Trump can serve a purpose.
He's a tool. He is a tool. Like, politics is a bus, everybody. I don't know every single personal deal about the fucking bus driver. I don't have to agree with him on his stances on 100% of the shit. Just get me close enough to where I'm going. Just get me to the stop and I'll get off when I'm fucking done. But you're the bus driver. I don't have to suck your dick. I don't have to love you. I don't have to know everything that you've ever done and be tacitly and explicitly beholden to everything. And now that's my like, what the fuck are you even talking about? I don't even hold other people to that standard. I don't think every single voter for the Democrats is like a demonic, fucking LGBTQ cat lady or some soy beta cuck, but they are. I mean, it's just fucking empirical evidence.
Well, that was what I was going to say. Like,
so ugly. Fuck, man.
These anarchists.
Are you telling me?
These anarchists are
so much hotter.
Right. These anarchists are like, oh, they're two
My
wings
wife
of the
included.
same. They're two wings of the same bird. I'm like, yeah, but
Yeah.
one of the wings is cutting off baby dicks. Like
Right.
one of the wings.
What are we talking
is,
about? No, they are not. The moral equivocation is just fucking maddening. No, we're not. You guys are talking about full-term abortions. You're talking about slaughtering kids at 9 months. That is what you're talking about. The most dangerous place to be in America for Black children, BIPOC individuals, is in the womb in New York. 50,000 a fucking year of abortions for healthcare. It's not, those aren't index cases. Those aren't rape. Those aren't incest. That's fucking healthcare. That's people pouring a glass of wine on their TikTok being like, it's already scheduled. I had it. This is my fourth one. You fucking demon. I don't even know what to call you other than that. That is fucking demonic to even think about. Man, I got a 5-year-old right now. I would turn anybody you included into fucking soup for that kid. I wouldn't even think about it. I will fight you until you either kill me and you turn me off or I fucking turn you off. I swear to fucking God. I swear to God. To imagine hurting a child in that way at any stage. We can back it all the way up. I don't give a fuck. I'm so hardline about this. I'll turn you off to what I am. But that's me as a person, not how I would legislate. Fuck you. No index cases, no nothing. Pro-life, shut the fuck up. If it's going to kill the mom, then we figure the fuck out. We do a C-section with the baby available, and then we hope mom lives. I don't know what the fuck to tell you. That's how
recently,
important kids are.
I saw they're working on synthetic wombs.
Fuck
I'm like,
you.
Fine. No, here's why I'm pro synthetic womb in a way. Okay, you know what, you fucking piece of shit? We're gonna take you. We're gonna protect the baby and take it the fuck up. We're gonna figure it out.
Because we're talking about adoption. We're talking about adoption at a zygote state. We just found an environment that would let the child. Okay, you know what? Thank you for making me think. You've proved my point that I said exactly. Because I was gonna fucking throw this fucking computer out the window.
Because listen, I understand
that's a great point.
They're bought motherfuckers, but their whole fulcrum is, no, I don't. It's my body. Okay, bitch. Boop. Not your body anymore.
Tight.
Right?
Yeah.
No, I don't
love it.
I don't want that to be again
the standard.
Don't do it. We want people
to be pregnant. You fucking lazy ass.
But and no, you can never fucking talk to them again, by the way. You can't can I write a letter in 20 years and say, oops, sorry, you have mental problems.
Again, imagine like a very fun, logical thing, like a logical exercise to do to get yourself to think differently is take things purposely out of context. Pretend there's an alien that flew into the room and he's like, hey, all of the radio traffic is really fucked up. Can you explain to me the gay surrogacy thing? And you would have to describe to somebody that has a basic understanding of your language and shit. And you'd have to be like, all right, so listen. So these people that can't have kids are going to pay another person to use their womb to have the kids. And then the mother doesn't play a part of their life. It's with the gay couple, either women or men. And sometimes they use, the men never get to talk to the kids anyway. And it's just a weird thing. But also those same people believe that if you do that at 9 months, it literally, the 29th, or the 39th trimester, 40th trimester, or 40th week in the third trimester, you can just slaughter that kid because, maybe the surrogate doesn't want it anymore. And then it's just a contract violation between the people that paid her for it. That's a fucking ridiculous and demonic thing to have to try to think about.
It's almost like slavery, boys and girls. Oh my God, debasing someone to their fucking to a transaction. Gee golly.
Wow. It's almost like human control looks like human control. Like they're very clear initiatives. And again, you're like, what's the one thing about your page, man? It's like, and it's again, I saw an issue that I could never let go ever again. I swear to God, if I can get as big as I can, I'm only talking about kids. Leave the kids the fuck alone. I will find them and protect them wherever they are. I swear to God, I will devote my entire life to human trafficking and lost kids and the protection of children in the family unit. And if that makes me a conservative and an extreme right-wingist, well, then so be it. Because I swear to fucking God, that is my only stance. And I will not stand by if I have a voice to talk about it. Like, I want the country to be great. I want these things to go back to a conservative way of life. I think it's actually appropriate for right now where we are. And then let's talk about something that is way more free in the future. Like, get rid of the Fed, get rid of the teachers unions, get rid of the teachers lobbies, find a way to divorce every single politician from AIPAC because every single one of them is bought and paid. Like, we have problems that we got to fix and we can talk about that in the future. But right now, man, we need a rebasing and a rebaselining of this country and what it is that we value. And I start with kids first, foremost.
Right. And in the interim, ladies and gentlemen, and I've said this before, but like, if it's not my clown, it's not, or if it's not my circus, it's not my clowns. So if I'm building my life in a way which, oh my God, everybody, big, scary new disease, come to the FEMA camp. We have money or we have food. Yeah. I'm past because I already have food.
Yeah.
Right?
I already
not
have
my
guns
circus.
Too. I've got
my clowns.
I have guns too. I have a lot of them. I didn't lose him in a boating accident. I'm not saying anything illegal, right? I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm not even being cute about it. No, man. If you come knock on my door, level 4 plates or a warrant, preferably both. Okay, we're not playing this game, dude. Like, I swear to fucking God. Like, I just I will stay up.
Let's press on that. Let's press on that, because this is some of the direction that I personally believe conservatives need to follow. We cannot allow, because they are yes. But and a lot of this goes into Christian Zionism, which is just an asinine belief that is only 200 years old, by the way, everybody. Look up James Schofield, look up Darby, look at all those motherfuckers from literally 200 years ago or less who said, you know what? I know Jesus said you have to accept him for salvation. Old Jews are grandfathered in. Where the fuck are you getting that? You fucking anyway. So neocons are obsessed with Israel because they're building off of that fallacy, right? And the fallacy is so embedded in American evangelism culture. It's so embedded in conservatism, our greatest ally, right? So how we divorce them from it is to be on their side, or I think one of the ways is to be on their side, and then all of a sudden be like, oh, by the way, take that with you, right? Like to be, oh no, yeah, pro-Trump. Also, fuck you, fuck Netanyahu in his mouth. Like all this. You know, what do you feel is another tactic that we can take?
Man, I think, sunlight is the best disinfectant, man. Just go look up the USS Liberty. I have one test for a greatest ally. I figured it out because I have we don't have military allies. We have people that let us use their shit by force. All we're talking about here is the exposition of force. Who has the force? You want to talk about, why I feel the way that I do about policemen or federal people or the people that use force or coercion by any manner. That includes, kinetic, non-kinetic, however it is that you want to put it into two camps. Like if you use force to have dominion over another human, I fucking hate you. I fucking hate you. And you should be up to the highest level of transparency. So the USS Liberty, for people that don't know, is when our greatest ally, and this is the one test I have for allies, and we do not have allies. We have people that we have force over, either military, like, hey, Japan, you don't want us to drop another bomb, huh? Because we're going to build some bases on Okinawa. Like, that's what fucking happened. And in Europe, every base that we have, this projection of American colonialism and interventionism across the globe, especially looking at the Navy bases, it's ridiculous. But that's what it's born out of. It's born out of force. Plain and simple. That's all it fucking is. So if you seek dominion over another person, like, I'm adversarial with you, right? That's all politicians, is people that wield force for whatever else. The USS Liberty was floating along, having a good time. I'll look up the date here in a second, but do your own fucking homework. The USS Liberty had an incoming attack. They immediately hit the communications place because they knew they had the fucking best intel. They hit the communications decks and all the antennas. They couldn't get anybody out, and these planes just like strafing them. Sailors were jumping overboard. They were killing people in parachute, or not in parachutes. They were killing people in lifeboats, killing people swimming around. Sharks came out. It's a crazy fucking story of all time. One guy exposed himself to fire, almost got shot by a fucking gun off of a fighter jet. Got a communications out. It was Israel. They were trying to do it as a false flag to pull us into another war. The same people that were involved in that cover-up ended up working for this little think tank, and they put together this paper called The Grand Exit. That Grand Exit was published in 1998, 1999. Same folks that ended up, the USS Liberty grew into, some of these folks. Guess what that paper was? It talked about how you have to make this grand exit and get into Afghanistan and Iraq. It was written by the Jews. The only person that was persecuted in the Jewish attack on the U.S. Liberty was one fighter pilot that denied to shoot people in a lifeboat. He got counseled for it. That was the only person that was prosecuted, and Lyndon B. Johnson knew about it. 100%. Like, when you start looking at that, like, I'm sorry, like, and I'll tell you, that's one historical note. Here's a personal anecdote. I've actually worked with the country. I've actually done things that required briefings and intakes and whatever else. The briefings about what we weren't allowed to show them because they were the biggest collector on us took longer than the training did. We would have to do the most bland shit. They were like, you cannot show them those nods. Don't show them those nods. They're not allowed to look at your weapon like that. What are you guys doing? We're like, TCCC. They were like, you're doing medicine? All right. What level? We were like, what basic. You'd be like, all right, fine. But then we're like, we're doing helo work. They were like, no, you need to show us what you're going to show. What helicopter? Which one? Dude, months. It took months to prepare for a very short, very bland training exercise. Do you know why? Because they're not our greatest ally. There's a thing called Five Eye, right? How we share intelligence among people. Why isn't Israel in Five Eye? Because they collect on us. They're not our greatest ally. That's
Right.
why. Like, and and again, I'm saying these things. Go look them up. Don't believe me. Come back and ask me and be like, hey man, I looked into the USS Liberty. You said this, or hey, who were these three guys, or what was the thing actually called? You misspoke. Man, well, I'll talk about it. I'll talk about it till I'm blue in the face. But when you start to see it, and you're right, you start to see it, you're like, hold on, I've seen this one before. Like, oh, here's the new bird flu. No. We're not doing lockdowns. We're not doing any of the mass hoarding stuff. We're not doing essential businesses. We're not doing anything. No, I'm going to opt out of that one. It's like every time I go through Clear in the airport, because I love Clear because I don't have to stand in the line. They have my biometrics anyway. But I always opt out of the photo just to fuck with the TSA agents because fuck them. So I'll walk up and it's like this big process. They got a manager over. I hold the line up. I don't give a shit. I didn't have to stand in the line because I'm clear. So I walked all the way front. Now I got time to fuck around. And that's what type of person I am.
By the way, everybody, they're starting to take pictures at airports. You can opt out.
You can opt out.
It doesn't even take any time. I just said,
No time.
no, I'd rather not. Here's my ID, just like you would have
Just like
taken
yes.
2 weeks ago. Oh, okay, cool. And they pass you through.
This chick got so mad at us. I'm there with my wife and my toddler. Like he's not even a toddler. He's like 5 months. What is that? A toddler? Newborn? I don't know what the fuck call him. I'm strollers, whatever. My wife walks up. She's like, yeah, I'd like to opt out. The lady freaks out. She's like, opt out. You can't opt out. I was like, she can totally opt out. And then like the manager right there, she's like, she can opt out. So she's like, well, why? They already have a picture. I was like, hey, did I ask your opinion? I didn't ask your opinion. Nobody elected you God over our lives. You don't need to dig into this. Here's the question: opt in or opt out. We opt out. That's it. Conversation over. And she kind of looked at me and I was like, I'm fucking serious. And I was like, she free to go? She good? She just walked through. I was like, fuck you all.
Now let's piece that apart, conservatives. And you okay to go a couple more minutes, Aaron?
Oh yeah, brother.
Okay.
Send it.
Let's piece that apart. Conservatives who are watching right now, neocon little faggots. Let's address this, okay? Because if you think, well, that's just what happens, that isn't just what happens.
That isn't.
It's been implemented, slowly boiling us as frogs.
With the Patriot Act.
It's never going to go away unless you take it apart. Now, if you
when has the government ever given a right back? When have they ever given? They just like let you do stuff. How hard do they hang on to money that they've already taken from you or to projects that are already there? How hard? Get the fuck out of here.
Or even bump stocks. Let's take bump stocks. Bump stocks were outlawed, quote unquote, by the executive branch, which is not allowed to do that.
Nope.
Even you faggot fucking Trump. Love y'all, but stop. Okay. And then Michael Cargill, okay, one singular guy, I've had him on my show. He's a sweetheart. Sued Merrick Garland, sued the fucking Merrick Garland or ATF? I can't remember. Shit. He's got multiple lawsuits. He's got multiple lawsuits.
Is he part of FPC? FPC had a lawsuit that went through too. It was good.
No, he's not part of FPC. But Michael Cargill sued. It was the ATF. And they reversed it. See, when the government encroaches, they know they don't have the authority to do it. The same thing is going to happen when Kamala Harris makes an executive order to take AR-15s. They're going to go through all our AR-15s. It's not going to go well. But okay, here's in the nightmare
No, you're
scenario,
not taking it. Like,
no, they're not. They don't have the authority. They'll try a little bit, and then years go by. The law says, no, you weren't allowed to do that, and no consequences happen.
No accountability.
They were overstepping. No consequences, by the way, conservatives. No consequences for the piece of shit fucking cops who went and knocked on goddamn doors. You better fucking understand. You could be thin blue line all you fucking want. Somebody enforced vaccine mandates. Oh, I'm against vaccine mandates. The fucking cops did it. Okay, you stop with this. Oh, if my guy's in charge of the giant bureaucratic monster. Anyway, the problem is the bureaucratic monster. The problem is the TSA agents, like you said.
I used to poo-poo the deep state because I was one of those guys that, we go from the going in point where I'd be like, oh, you mean to tell me there's a coordinator cabal of people that sit in the back room and they coordinate all this stuff? No, there's 100% of deep state. It's the bureaucratic, unelected fuckers that make these calls. Chevron deference going down with like a whimper and not a roar was crazy to me. That's the biggest ruling that we've seen historically, at least I think in our lifetime. The fact that can you
detail that? Because I didn't look into that very much. I didn't even know it existed.
Yeah, so Chevron deference, think about you give deference to somebody with stripes, right? So in 1984, there were these fishermen, and then the fishing regulatory body essentially levied that the fishermen weren't doing the right thing in their waters, and I think they charged them a fine. It was nominal or whatever, but it ended up going to court. Well, it went all the way to the Supreme Court, because what you should think about when you hear Chevron deference is trust the experts, trust the science, trust the experts, trust the science, right? That's what Chevron deference was. So the Supreme Court actually says, listen, The regulatory agency of this ocean that I'm not pulling up off my head, I don't give a fuck to Google because I'm on a rant. The regulatory agency knows how to best protect these waters. Therefore, they can interpret the law to say whatever they want and then put liens on real citizens by way of fine or by way of non-usage and have actual power, but they're not doing it in a constitutional process. There's no law. Nobody fucking voted on that. That's not in the Constitution. You're not fucking king. Well, Chevron deference made the experts king. That's why OSHA could say that in order to work in the labor market, you have to take an untested mRNA treatment or you're going to lose your fucking job. And no, it doesn't matter if you get hurt because you can't sue them either. And no, it doesn't matter that we don't have the actual approved one out yet, which was never produced or given to anybody in the military, by the fucking way, mandatorily. Not me though, because I lied about it. Fuck you. So like that's where that power comes from, the Chevron deference. Think of it like a uniform, like a military uniform. If you have chevrons, if you have a lot of them, you give deference to that person. They are the subject matter expert. What they're saying might not be right. It might be more of a standard or a norm, but you still listen to them because they own it, right? So Chevron deference, it was stricken in a great, it was great, great approvals or whatever it is that they write in their support. The dissension was fucking nonsense and they got rid of Chevron deference. So no longer do they have that unelected bureaucratic power. It was huge. So you start applying that to people. Is the EPA a fucking regulatory body? No, they make recommendations. How about the CDC? Okay, let's keep going. How about the fucking ATF? How about the NSA? How about where's the law that we voted on that we're getting fucking surveilled on? How about like all of these things now that kind of cape is off and it's like piercing the corporate veil with an LLC, right? Like as long as you don't pierce the corporate veil between your personal self and the LLC, you're fine. You're protected from business stuff. This is the same thing. They had the veil up for a long time, but now they've pierced the veil and they're like, no. You're an unelected bureaucrat. You don't represent the will of the governed. That's not in the Constitution. You don't have this fucking regulatory power. Those mandates were suggestions. You should have just raw dogged your fucking life. Who's going to come for you? The CDC police? Well, no, the fucking brown shirts that we saw come for people are going to come for people. And that's exactly what happened, unfortunately.
Right. And so culturally, conservatives, I want to decouple you from not just Israel.
Squishy middle piece of the fuck you, your conservatism. Stand up, pussies.
Right. I want you to also decouple from cops. Listen, I know cops. I know many of them have good intentions. A lot of them are running into burning buildings.
Impossible job. They could get killed at work. I'm sorry. It's a fucking impossible job. Got it.
Right. But having someone have authority
when you give them a gun and you say you can get into a shootout and the state will protect you. That's what happened. That is what you were agreeing to in a law enforcement scenario. Someone with a gun that will have the backing of the state if he gets into a pistol fight with you and shoots you. And even if you don't have a weapon, he could get away with it. That is the power that you're giving police to take away your liberty. You are giving man the power to which God gave you the right. Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, these inalienable rights by our creator, by God. Government didn't give you those. That man has taken those away from you. That's the power that you give cops and regulatory agencies that show up your door to talk about fucking memes. You fucking cocks.
Right.
They're due the most transparency they can give them. And I say that with all the love in my heart, man. I got friends at every single level of this, every single level of fucking killers in the fucking federal agencies, man. Every single alphabet agency. I know somebody, or I'm one degree away from knowing somebody that works there, man. I would never bemoan them. I hope they come home safe every night. But if you go on a bad shoot and somebody sort of half-ass throws a boiling pot of water at you in a situation you should have never been in and you murder them in their kitchen, you should go to fucking jail forever. Sorry, that's murder. I don't give a fuck, man.
Now, along with that, before we wrap up, I also want to say, ladies and gentlemen, that the Joseph Santos, hello, Right Rican, hello, sir. Who mentioned it? Hang on, where is it? There we go. The Joseph Santos said, fully enforce the 14th Amendment, Section 1, and watch how weak the government feels. Now, here's the thing, boys and girls, because I know you have your sacred cows. I'm going to just help you out with something real quick. FDR knew about Pearl Harbor a year before it happened. Not only that, I know, proud to be in America. I know it's swelling up in you right now. The waving of the flag and how heroic we all were, and the just war is waving up in you. Listen. They not only did he know about it, he and a couple small cabal motherfuckers actively tried to bait Japan into an attack because they wanted in to the World War II. They wanted fucking in. So if it reaches that far back, let's talk about the 14th Amendment, right? Do you know that Lincoln overstepped his boundaries that there were supposed to be set up for the president supposed to have right? He overstepped his boundary, but Lincoln's a great American. Right? Search and seizure. He didn't have to, right? He suspended all kinds of, he had motherfuckers in Maryland, I think
habeas corpus, everything. Yeah, everything.
He had motherfuckers in Maryland arrested because they spoke out, not did actions, spoke out against his war.
Sedition.
Right?
It was the only time that people were actually charged with sedition, and he did it.
So, ladies and gentlemen, it goes far back. And this is part of the culture shift, is because we, like you said, exposure is one of our main, sunlight is one of the main disinfectant. So if we keep ripping those bandages off and those blinders off, where do we feel? And this is something I'd like you to maybe talk about a little bit. But I was thinking about this a second ago. Oh my God, Trump's great, but he's also a piece of shit. Yes. Oh, but Hitler was Satan, but also FDR knew about. Yeah. Okay. Now follow that train of thought. What happens is, as humans, when we are stripped away of all those blankets, we now feel, two analogies, I'm sorry, everybody, but we now feel like we're not standing on solid ground. Good, boys and girls, because if you realize where the fucking foundation is supposed to come from, see, the foundation is not supposed to come from a country. It's not supposed to come from a fucking politician or a flag. It's supposed to come from you and God. It's supposed to come from foundational human experience. You know what I mean? So I'd like to hear your thoughts on that.
Oh, dude, man, I am that guy. Man, I grew up Irish Roman Catholic till I was about 18. I did the same thing every fucking 18-year-old, uninformed 35-year-old does, which is they lean into atheism and nothing is real and nihilism and the whole fucking thing. Like, I'll tell you some of those things I cringe about being wrong. I look back and I look at these dumbass conversations with these silly pedantic logic traps to try to explain God and all this other stuff. And like, I was in the throes of it, man. Like, you know, Chris Hitchens and Sam Harris and who's the doctor guy, the fucking British dude,
Hawkins.
Richard Dawkins.
Richard Dawkins.
Yeah, but all that thing, man, like I was totally into it and I felt good, and, you know, and have conversations with friends. And unfortunately, and this is again a douchey statement, unfortunately, I am who I am. So I was just digging in. I was way further down on the iceberg than anybody that I ever talked to. There were very few opportunities where I actually talked to somebody on the other side of the fence. So of course I thought I was right. And I said dumb shit all the time. Brother, there's a God. There is a, like, I don't know, like, I'm not a religious person. I think men really fuck religion up, but I can find fucked up stuff up and all religion. I did it for a decade. I can quote the Bible better than you can. Right. But as I asked myself those immutable questions, I came to the conclusion that there was one level deeper on the iceberg and I'm not there. And that means to me that I've found the end of my faith journey. There is a God. Now, how that expresses it in life and how it is that we honor it. And I got my idea about, you know, which spot has it the closest, you know, but I don't find that particularly useful. You know, the story is useful because I was able to like discern after I gained enough knowledge and enough experience. I was able to discern what I believe to be the truth, and I can defend the fuck out of it, right? And the truth is a lion. Just set it free; it'll defend itself. Well, I'm pretty good at fucking defending the truth too, and I just do it in a more adversarial way because that's how important it is. I feel like we're in a time, and I'm not saying this like we're not at the end of times. I'm saying, you know, there is a time, there's inflection points in your life where things are going to get remarkably better or remarkably worse. We were 1 minute of angle away from seeing President Trump's head explode on TV, and they planned it. They hadn't live streamed a fucking event before that you can see now from a point of view video that's just breaking today. You can see somebody moving on the roof with Trump on stage. They knew he was there before Trump took the stage. I'm sorry. That's too many questions. That's divine intervention. If that doesn't show you that God literally moved his head at that time to miss that sniper's bullet with all the other bullets in the air, you're fucking insane and you're naive. And if you try to say, you know, oh, stuff just happens, you're naive. You haven't thought. You need to go think about stuff and grow up as a person and come back. And it might take years. I'm serious. Like I just can't. And I can come up with a million things: childbirth, a child's love, child's pure innocence. You're telling me that's not God loves it? God's love expressed as a small thing that loves you so much that He smiles every time you come in a room.
The complexity of human nature.
How do you not feel that? How do you not? How is energy not a thing if your dog knows when you're coming home and you and your wife can say the same thing at the same time? Hey, I was just thinking about tacos. That one spot over in Hualapai, right? Yeah, exactly. Oh, really? That's not a connection. That's not true energy that you've never felt in your life before.
and that you
Okay.
can't quantify and you can't
Can't
really
possibly do it.
define, you can't measure, right? And I'll also bring this up, ladies and gentlemen, before we wrap. It's not a new topic, it's this topic, but I'm just saying, if the people we're fighting, as we are taking off all those exposing, right, all those blinders, and you now see that the people that we're fighting are satanic oligarchs, right? Satanic people. They
You got to call it what it
serve,
is. Like,
right?
look at it. Just look at what you're seeing. Look at what you're seeing.
So the next logical step, boys and girls, is I wonder why they're satanic. Wait a second, they serve
Wait
a
a
dark
second.
master. I wonder if there's
Well, it's like
I
people
wonder.
I love it that people just get to that stopping point. Like, and you can see them all the time. I have, like, again, I am much less, even on this topic, like, I do not tell people, like, I wouldn't call myself a Christian. Like, again, a lot of this stuff is super duper complicated. Like, where, I get my objective more, it's 99% from, the Christian faith and the lessons through Jesus and the expositions in the Bible and as many texts as you can get on from that time. Like, I just think it's the best roadmap for the way forward. And if a thing isn't right for me, I'll take it out of my life. I have that luxury. I don't feel beholden to it. I will have to see if I'm going to hell or not, but maybe I'll find it along my journey because I'm not done yet. Right. That's the fucking point. I'm on a constant search for this objective truth, for this thing in me that I feel pulling me somewhere. Right. It made me want to be a PJ. It made me want to get out of that shitty job in Ohio. It made me want to deploy and be there for the guys that are on my left and right, even though I know this might have been bullshit. And then looking back on it, it made me not want to commit suicide anymore after I realized that it fucking did. Like, it was all bullshit. It was a lie. But at least I protected my team. I can say one fucking thing. I never came home with less people than I went with. It was always more because we would save them and we'd bring them home. I never lost one. That's why I was in. And yeah, I'll make my amends with whoever about, the things that I've done in pursuit of some unrighteous shit. I gotcha. But we got to figure that out. You got to talk about it. And that's why we're here. And you got to have these open, vulnerable conversations. I could be wrong. Somebody can hit me up, be like, you're a blasphemous fuck, whatever. Cool, man. Like, let's talk about it. Cause I don't know what I'm doing.
Right. And Boondock Guy says, the world of being has always been between good and evil. And I'm saying,
I love Boondock. What's up, brother?
And I'm saying that's essentially where we're ending it, as you got to get a foundation, boys and girls. And so that foundation has to come from somewhere. And if your whole foundation is all resting on who wins this election, you are going to be, even if you win, you're going to be duped.
That's it.
Okay, yeah, you're going to be following along, and it was so busy celebrating that the Antifa paid protesters who are protesting Donald Trump's win are going to, oh my God, they're attacking us. And if you lose, your whole world is going to be crushed. Don't do that. It has to be deeper, right? So get a fucking foundation.
Amen. That's it. That's the one. You crushed it.
Appreciate this fucking talk, man. This has been blessed.
I could stay on here forever. I'll come back on anytime you want, man. Let's figure it out. Let's develop some shit. I'm here for it.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. And by the way, before we wrap, I was you were talking about, I got turned on to, About Face, the book About Face. Hackworth. He had that same vibe where he's like, oh, I was
Hackworth
a pain in the ass to all of these people.
Everybody, fuck them. I would tell my juniors, I'm like, they owe you more. They're authority. They owe you way more than you owe them. You need to show up on time in the right clothing with the right little baubles and you'll be fine. Even in a special operations community, just have your ruck, have these things in it, show up. We're going to do this dangerous thing. You'll have somebody that teaches you, shut the fuck up and go do it. When you're a young guy, that's fine. When I'm the guy that's about to tell a dude he's going to jump from 25,000 feet and I'm responsible for checking his parachute and his ruck because it'll kill him and his O2. And when we get to the ground, we're going to get into a fucking pistol fight or get into a gunfight and then go rescue somebody that's going to be dying. You have to stop them from doing that and then call in fires accurately close to your position. And then we're going to exfil by some other method. And this has to be done perfectly or everybody's dead. You owe them a fucking lot. So fuck them. The police, when they interact with you, do it respectfully, do it tactfully. Don't give them a fucking inch. Hey man, where are you going tonight? I'm not here to talk about my fucking day. Can I help you? Officer says his badge number. Fuck them. I'm sorry. Like, you were always going to get, because you're allowed to shoot and kill me. Tell me what person in the world is allowed to openly say that they're allowed to shoot and kill you. Why would you be nice to that person? Right. And it kind of, it skews my view. You can apply that view to what I think conservatism is. There's a lot of people that want to talk about it. They don't want to fucking be about it. Why aren't we using lawfare? Why are we not prosecuting Frank Biden? He lives in fucking Florida. I'm aware that Florida is a pretty red fucking state. There's not one DA down there that wants to bring him in for being part of the fucking Biden family and having 20 LLCs and $1 million fucking dollars to his name just for being Biden from China and Russia and Ukraine. We know this. Why aren't we doing it? Get off the fucking fence. Fuck your soft ass middle ground. You either get in the fight or you get the fuck out of the way. And it's like, it's Tombstone. And I fucking love Tombstone. God damn it, Ike. You get to fight or you get the fuck out of here. That's what it's the fucking okay, Carl. America's not dead. She's dying. So for everybody that's there, there's a foot on America's neck. And for everybody out there, oh, it's dead. We might as well not do anything. Get the fuck out of my way, pussy. I'm going to get into a fight.
Right.
Let's go.
And being black-pilled is gay.
It's fucking so gay. I'm fucking white-pilled all day. I'll tell you what, I evolved on that thing too. I said that shit at one point. And I was serious about it. What a fucking gay-ass retard.
Right,
stupid.
Right. They want find that us to give up. Of course they want us to give up.
Fuck you. I got a knee problem. I ain't bowing for fucking nobody. Eat a dick. Come holler at me. We're having court in the street. I don't give a fuck. And by the way, that's not a call to violence. And I'm not saying like it's Boogaloo Part 2. I'm just saying me personally, you can stack the fuck up or shut the fuck up because I'm willing to go to that level of violence and it doesn't take a whole lot. I'm fine. Like, okay, you want to be violent? It's like the dumb interaction. I want to bro, I will heel hook you and I will rip your knee in a way where I will disable you for the rest of your fucking life. And I will do it happily. And then when you can't keep me in your guard anymore, I will fucking work on your arms. You will not be able to pick your children up. How about that? I won't kill you. I'll fucking rip your arm off like it's a chicken wing until I can turn it all the way around. And then they can try to fix it. Both of them. Fuck you.
I don't think he was going to have children, but maybe that's that Puerto Rican.
What was that? Well, he can buy one, motherfucker. They're very careful. Yeah. See, just bringing it all back, baby. You got to end it right now. That was the one.
Ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Love. Everybody go follow him. Thank you very much, sir. At Aaron_loves_America. Thanks everybody for joining. I'll go ahead and find me on Instagram at Peter_Feliciano. And give me money. Love y'all.
Check out the War Room. That's my other one.
Oh, that's your other one? Where do they find
the
that?
War Room? Yeah, the War Room. It's on YouTube, easily Googleable. It's all War Room. So the War Room, 4 special ops dudes talking shit, trying to help people be better men. Come find it.
Fantastic.
Yes,
Bye, everybody. I'll go ahead and end the live stream now.